A brand new Elden Ring has just been announced. I can't even believe those words are coming out of my mouth, but it's not what you think. It's not a mainline Elden Ring game, but it's something different. Still by the From Software team that brought you all of the Souls games that we know and love. And I want to break down everything we know about Elden Ring Nightreign. But before I get into it, thank you so much for 860 subscribers. If you are new to the channel, you like gaming news, gaming reviews, specifically with RPGs in the action-adventure genre, please like and subscribe if you enjoy what you see here. Now, let's get into the content. Elden Ring Nightreign is set to be a co-op 3-person survival game set within the same universe of Elden Ring. In addition, this game is going to be a roguelike experience that is actually going to be round-based instead of a giant open-world campaign that you will seamlessly walk through. From Software specifically stated that they wanted to take all of the elements people really enjoyed about Elden Ring, as well as some of the other Souls games in the past, even from games like Sekiro, and package them all together in a much tighter, faster-paced experience that players can enjoy. Now, what's this experience actually going to be like? Well, we know a decent amount about this from different gaming journalists who have already sat down and played this game for 6 or more hours. You are going to be dropped into the world of Elden Ring within Limgrave, except for instead of all of the different bosses and the different dungeons and structures in the game that you have known and grown accustomed to being where they are, it's all going to be randomized. And this is going to be different from every playthrough that you go through, and you're also going to have, like I mentioned, 2 other players by your side to go explore all of these and find the randomized loot and make your character as strong as possible through your specific play session. And each of these sessions is going to take place in a 3-day cycle, and as you progress through these, there is going to be an acid rain, a battle royale-like circle that is going to close in on you, making your play space more narrow and making the loot at the perimeters of the map no longer accessible. Think of a game like Dark and Darker, who already does this in those extraction type of RPGs. That is exactly what this sounds like. Now, at the end of each day, a boss is going to trigger, and you're going to need to use all of the loot, all of the runes, health potions, etc. that you found throughout the day to fight this boss at the very end of the day. And these bosses seem like they can be Elden Ring bosses or returning bosses from other Souls games like the Nameless King, for example, that we did see in the trailer, but also they have had new bosses be created for this game as well. We've already heard about something called the Centipede Demon that can detach itself and fight all of your 3 companions at once. Now, at the end, the very end of the 3-day cycle, there's going to be a giant boss, and supposedly there are 8 different bosses with completely different 3-day cycles leading up to them, which sounds freaking awesome to be able to go with your friends and take out all of the different 8 big bosses at the end of these cycles. Now, in this game, you're not going to create your own character to jump into these different sessions. You're actually going to choose between, I believe at launch, 6 different builds. So what we've already seen so far is the Wilder, which is going to be an all-rounder hero type with good balance between speed and attack. A Guardian that's going to be obviously slower, but is going to be your big tank build. You also have the Duchess, which is more of a nimble, fast attacker with a quick step ability, as well as a Recluse, which is going to be your mage attack. And then again, there's 2 that we don't know of, but were hinted at that you hopefully will be able to play when the game releases. Now, each of these classes and builds is going to have their own unique skill as well as an ultimate attack as well. Wilder, for example, has a hook shot that you're able to get past enemies and sneak up behind bosses or pull in smaller enemies. The Guardian is going to be able to conjure up a gigantic tornado. The Recluse, for example, can put a marker on an enemy that can siphon HP, and there's a lot of different really cool unique abilities that are set to be in this game that we've already heard about. Other examples here are like the Guardian, who has an ability that's apparently like a dive bomb, where the Duchess, which is the mage class and the mage build, can actually replicate a previous ability and deal double damage from that, which just sounds insanely awesome. Now, in addition, Nightreign changes a lot of core mechanics as you're going to be moving throughout the world, specifically from what we've known and loved in previous Souls games and in Elden Ring specifically. You are actually able to wall jump in this game, something similar to Sekiro, where you run up a wall and then hop over it. There's going to be absolutely no fall damage in this game either. In addition, you don't sit down at a site of grace, you just walk up to it and it immediately restores your health and mana potions. In terms of leveling, you don't actually have to level up each individual stat. You level up these apparently base traits that are going to upgrade the specific stats that are going to help out your character. There's absolutely no equipment load, and you can pretty much just put on any piece of gear that you find in without having to have the necessary stat requirements for it. There are trees you can find in the game that launch you in the air and allow you to legit fly and glide over the area. So overall, as you can tell, they did a lot to the core mechanics of the Souls games to make sure this is a much faster pace, tighter experience with all of the different movement bonuses, with all of the different restrictions pretty much removed from this game. In addition, when you are going throughout the world, you can even revive your teammates as you're going through the different days and nights by actually hitting them on the ground and hitting them enough times until they come back to life. Now, if you do die, what happens? Well, you go back to the round table hold and you're able to spend currency on different emotes or different character skins, etc. You're able to practice all of the different builds that you can choose when you go into your next run. And on top of this, you can configure things like called relics that are going to be permanent buffs that you're going to get after your runs to take into your next run. This is where obviously the roguelike mechanics come into play, and apparently these are very similar to the gems within Bloodborne. So all in all, this game really does seem like Dark and Darker or Dungeonborne without the PvP elements. Just a co-op game without extraction that's going to have a lot of these similar mechanics. You're going to dive in with 3 players, you're going to explore a completely randomized area within the Elden Ring universe, you're going to fight 3 different bosses, with the end one being that penultimate boss that you have to beat, and there's 8 different versions of these. You're going to have your 2 other friends with you, and all of you are going to choose a specific build that's going to have a normal ability as well as an ultimate skill as well. You're going to get different loot throughout the game, you're going to explore, and if you die, you go back to your hold, you can practice, you get your permanent buffs, and then you go into your next run. And overall, I think it seems like a very unique and different experience from what From Software has done, but very reminiscent of some other experiences within this genre we've already played. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know down below in the comments if you guys are as excited as I am, or this is a game that you might pass on or just want to hear more information on, etc. I would love to know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Aside from this, please like this video and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.